Hey, buddy, watch this.
Hello, hello, Regis Kilbin is the name, and Hearthstone is the game, and it's time for another new Decksperiment in the One Night in Karazhan era. This is week one of the One Night in Karazhan adventure, and I've been inspired by one card in particular, the Arcane Anomaly. I think this is a pretty interesting little card. It's almost like a mana worm from Mage, but it gains health instead of attack, and it's not really an aggro card like a Tunnel Trog or a Mana Worm in my mind, right? It's more of a defensively minded early game card. I've tried to think about this card more like a Zombie Chow than a Mana Worm because the attack doesn't go up, so it's not really about doing damage. I think it's more about a card you can get out onto the board early, buff its health, use it to trade into stuff, keep it around, keep it alive, and really start to control your opponent's board in the early game. And I thought, well, what deck or what class really specifically needs that kind of card and has the spells necessary to make it work? And as you can probably tell from my screen, Priest is the class that certainly came to mind. Losing Zombie Chow in standard format was actually a pretty big hit to Priest just because it synergized so well with Arcane Priest and gave them that early game board mitigation, basically, like keep everything in check using Zombie Chow and Velen's Chosen. This card probably isn't quite as good as Zombie Chow at that because it lacks that extra synergy with Arcane Priest damage. Velen's Chosen is gone, so you can't buff this card like crazy. But I still think with Power Word Shield and some of the other tools that Priest has access to, including its hero power, getting a minion out early and having it stick around and have growing health can be a pretty powerful asset. Because Priest is really good in the mid to late game, but they really struggle in that early game. So I feel like Arcane Anomaly, even though it doesn't have the Priest label, might almost be a Priest card more than any other class's card. So yeah, of course, I can see it being played in stuff like Tempo Mage or maybe even Rogue a little bit, given all the spells that they have access to. But I'm most intrigued to see an Arcane Anomaly Priest, and that's exactly what I'm going to try to build in this Decksperiment. Of course, inspired by One Night in Karazhan cards and trying to unlock and discover some of the true potentials that these cards have. So what else goes in this Priest? I don't think this is an aggro Priest, right? This is still going to be sort of a control style Priest, but it needs to have a spell focus to make this card a little more consistent, and probably a couple other early game minions that synergize with spells. So the first thing that comes to mind, if we switch off the Karazhan filter here, is going to be the Wild Pyromancer. I know it's always faster to search than it is to click through your pages, but I think as a viewer you probably like to see cards and kind of have the experience of searching through the list, so I'm going to search through the list. I think Wild Pyromancer, another similar card, can help control boards that get out of hand, has spell synergies much like Arcane Anomaly. Yeah, you might kill your Arcane Anomaly from time to time accidentally, but that's okay. The cards don't always have to be played together. They can still do the same kinds of things and support the mentality or kind of strategy of the deck, and they do that both independently. So that's very nice to see. So that makes a lot of sense. I think we'll go ahead and jump back to Priest and start building some of the core Priest early game minions. Northshire Clerics are going to work really nicely with the Wild Pyromancer. You can damage your own minions and draw cards, so we'll definitely want the Circle of Healings as well. Plus, these are just spells that are going to buff your Arcane Anomaly. I actually think I want to run Holy Smites. We do want to have early cost spells, and as a 2-attack minion, the Arcane Anomaly doesn't kill a lot of important 3 health or 4 health things that you tend to see in the meta. So these two together can work much better. Not only is this a cheap spell that buffs your Arcane Anomaly, but it's a 4 damage total, so it can help the Arcane Anomaly trade up a little bit. The Clerics are there for draw with the Circle and the Wild Pyro, because we are going to have a tendency to run out of cards a little bit with these low-cost kinds of cards. We definitely want Power Word Shields. They're perfect for the Arcane Anomaly because they kind of double down on the health buff, which is really nice. We probably are going to want to run something like Resurrect in this deck. I think I also want to include at least 1 Shadow Word Pain and probably 2 Shadow Word Deaths. I think that's fine. We'll still want an Arcane Priest for Circle of Healing synergies, right? We certainly could kill off our Arcane Anomaly, but that's just such a core board recovery tool for Priest that I don't think we're allowed to pass up on it. We want some AoE removal. I think Excavated Evil is a little better than Holy Nova. these days as far as the meta is concerned, but I'm going to actually run one of each, and that's because this is a card that can stay alive and take some damage, and Holy Nova is really good with that, plus the Northshires work with Holy Nova too. Some people have cut Northshires lately from Control Priestless, and I understand why. It's just slower and sort of low impact, but I think it's intriguing. The card I'm really curious about running right now is Power Word Tentacles. Since we do have the Wild Pyros and the Northshires and the Arcane Anomalies, is this a card that actually works? It's not Velen's Chosen. It's much worse. It costs 2 extra mana and really doesn't do anything extra. It sort of sucks in that regard. You get some extra health, I guess, but it's not much stronger. But that said, I kind of want to try it in this list, just because we are going to have some minions out, and it really works well. And I'm kind of leaning towards a combo here in a second after I grab a couple more key priest spells with Entomb. I'm sort of leaning towards a combo with including 1 Divine Spirit and 1 Inner Fire, so that this thing gets buffed up. You get the Power Word Tentacles, it's got 10 health, and you can just surprise your opponents with this ridiculous combo. Plus, I mean, there may be even instances where Divine Spirit on an Arcane Anomaly makes sense just to get a minion out. The problem, of course, with those cards is they're very unpredictable, a little inconsistent. But since we have like spell synergies already, and lots of ways to take advantage of those spells, I kind of think I want to run them just to make Arcane Anomaly a little better. Normally, I think they're much too inconsistent. I'm not willing to put in 2, for instance. That would be overkill. Just kill half our draws, and they wouldn't help much. But for the potential to win games and for the potential just to have a really big guy, I think it's kind of cool. And another thing I'm going to do with this deck, which might seem a little unusual, is actually swap in a Yogg-Saron, just because it's very spell heavy. And he's so good with spells as like a late game last resort / finisher piece that I really want to see him in action. Typically a priest will run some threats, right? We'll see a Sylvanas, for instance. Maybe even like a Ragnaros. That's all something we could put into this deck too. But I kind of think I want to skew away from that and rely on our Entombs as our big answers and our Yogg-Saron as our big winner. And instead see if we can't win on the back of some sort of early game just drowning our opponent's resources out, right? Just draining them of everything they do. So as far as other things Priest can run in the early game, if you'll forgive all my clicking, I guess we could include a couple Forbidden Shapings as sort of another threat / spell synergy. I hate that I don't have a normal version, but until I do, I'm not going to dust that golden one to craft the new one. Are there any other low-cost kind of anti-aggro minions that we could run in this deck, right? Like 2 and 3 drops that are very good at contesting what our opponents want to do. I guess Doomsayers actually aren't bad, but they're kind of counter to the board presence strategy we've got going with some of these early minions. So I think we'll pass on the Doomsayers for now. A card like Nat the Darkfisher is kind of intriguing just because it's likely to live for some of these buffs. But we don't have enough consistency in our buffs to make him worth the risk, right? Brand Bronzebeard, we don't really have Battle Cries, so he's not going to work too well. Acolyte of Pain is not bad with Wild Pyromancer, but we do have some card draw mechanics already, so that seems somewhat risky. Earthring Farseer is kind of intriguing. Injured Blade Master, I guess, is probably what we're going to end up running just because it's so darn consistent. In Priest, people have identified it as a good card for a good reason, and I don't think I want to deviate too far from that. So this is an intriguing list, right? It's got some unusual stuff. I'm a little worried about the curve being just too slow. Like if we don't get the Northshires on time, are we going to run out of gas and just not have threats or removal on time? The answer to that's maybe. Maybe we will. Maybe we will. The Inner Fire, the Divine Spirit, and the Power Word Tentacles in particular are the 4 cards that make me nervous. Would we be better off just running a Resurrect, for instance, as opposed to trying to sneak out this Inner Fire Divine Spirit combo? How good is a 2/8 Arcane Anomaly, for instance? Is it really that good? Does it ruin our opponent's game plans that much as a 2-attack minion? I don't think it does. Even if it's an 8/8, it's like a 4-card 8/8. Is that bad? I think it is. Shaman gets a 1-card 8/8 for probably about the same mana. So maybe the Divine Spirit Interfire is not actually worth it at all. I mean, I'm dreaming, right, of the crazy Arcane Anomaly, Power Word Shield, Power Word Tentacles. You've got, like, I don't know the math, but probably like an 11 health minion that you turn into 22 and you attack for 22 damage. Like the old-fashioned Divine Spirit Interfire combo. But I just don't think that wins us games all that often, right? So much hard removal deals with that. Hexes, Executes. Druid would have trouble with it. Zoo would have trouble with it. Sticking on the board if it didn't finish them immediately. Resurrect is really good with Injured Blademaster, and it's bad with Pyro, Northshire, Arcane Anomaly. So I don't actually think Resurrect fits. So that's probably not the swap we'd make if we were going to make a swap. Flash Shields are good with Akanai, but the whole point of this deck is that we do contest the board a little better early. And Flash Shield's good as kind of a heal late game recovery, which we may not need to stabilize as much in late game if we're successful at contesting the early game better, like we hope to be with Arcane Anomaly and Holy Smite. So maybe we don't need that. I wouldn't mind adding in like one threat, like maybe we drop a Power Word Tentacles for just something like a late game value card, like a Confessor Paletress, that can just win the game if it goes uncontested. We don't have like Death Rattles to make a Death Rattle N'Zoth deck work. Sogoth the Slither is kind of intriguing. Ysera's always been a go-to priest card in that regard. Deathwing's kind of a bailout. I don't know, maybe Confessor Paletress is worth it. I've crafted this card and never gotten to really use it, so maybe I'm just running this for the fun of it. I don't know, more than anything else. I'm not sure it's actually the right card. Is Herald Volage any good? Let's think about that for a second. Actually, no, wait. Why don't we run a Priest of the Feast? It's new, has spell synergies. If we don't run the Flash Shields to stabilize, maybe this one can stabilize with us. Alternatively, can help us stabilize. It admittedly has some very anti-synergy with Akanai. You kill yourself if Akanai's on board when you play this. So you got to be careful there, but we're only going to run one. It's a 4-drop, so it's kind of a smoothed our curve out a little bit. Let's try that. I think this works, and I want to see the card in action too, right? So it's not all about maximizing the list. We don't know if this list is any good. It's an experiment. We're trying to see what happens. It actually has some cool synergies with Divine Spirit Interfire too, just because it's got a high health total. So let's try the Priest of the Feast. That seems like the perfect fit to cap off the Arcane, and I did not spell that right at all, the fear. The Arcane Anomaly Priest. Had a little bit of a spelling issue there. So let's try it. I think this is the list. I like it. Got some Forbidden Shapings are cool. A lot of cool spell synergies. Some good heal stuff. Some intriguing board clears. Some buffs. Some steals. Some Yogg-Saron's. A little bit of everything. So that's going to be the list. Let's go ahead and take it out onto the ranked ladder to see if it works. The answer is probably not. Priest is not in the best place, right? So if we made a priest list that works, we're going to be famous pretty soon. I'll give you guys credit, not me. You inspired me. Did they add new... I feel like they added new stuff to the wheel there. I feel like I've seen a few new titles. Okay. Entombs are great against Savannah Highmane, but that's just... we can't sit on those forever. There's some logic probably to keeping the Akanai here. So we'll keep that. Maybe there's not, actually. Typically there is, but since we have so much better early game with the Arcane Anomalies, maybe we need to be a little greedier for our mulligans. I think the answer is we probably do need to be a little greedier for our mulligans. This looks like it's going to be like an aggro Cloaked Huntress deck. I'm going to throw this out to contest that minion. Hopefully he doesn't have the second Abusive Sergeant to trade up. Because I'd love to be able to make that trade, or the quick shot. Either way. It's not very fun either. Holy Smite or Hero Power is the question. I think we just Hero Power. It's a little smoother for the mana curve, and we can Holy Smite it next turn with the Shadow Word Pain if we want on something else. So let's see what he does. We can also just Holy Smite that. But do we want to let those things... Oh, boy. I think we'll just do this. What do you guys think? There's a chance here, unfortunately, that my Pyro dies to the Fire Bat, but it's just a risk we got to take. Cool, it lived. That's really, really important. It's really important. That was a great turn. And that, folks, is why you run Holy Smite Wild Pyro. We'll just have to make the trade here, I think. We can Hero Power Shadow Word. No, we can't Shadow Word Pain. That's a 4-attack minion. We could Power Word Tentacles. Oh, we can't because I'll have to coin, so it'll die to the coin. So I think we'll just trade Arcane to set up a minion that can contest his board. It's kind of risky to play Arcane against like a face hunter like this. Just because you end up not being able to heal yourself. But we can Shadow Word Pain, Hero Power this. Power Tentacles doesn't do much right now. I actually don't want this to live forever, right? I want it to die eventually, so I don't want it to be buffed huge. But we can just clear his board. Holy Nova would have been nice too, because we could have traded and then Holy Nova, but not with an Arcane on board. If this was any other 3-5, it would have been nice. But not with the Arcane specifically. So we actually have the combo here. We could make this an 8-8. Oh, actually, we can make it more next turn. Gosh, what do we do? I guess we can go ahead and coin out the Power Word Tentacles now and set that up, right? Oh, well, alternatively, he's going to give up. So, yeah, we won that game on the Wild Pyro turn. The game was won right then. We had the cool comp. We were actually going to have a, even if it got pinged, it was going to be 3 health. We were going to take it up to 8. It's going to be a 16-16 the following turn, which is pretty sick. So we'll try again. Did not get to see our Arcane Anomaly in action. That was pretty much just normal priest shenanigans, which are few and far between, so still a sight to behold. Okay, Shadow Word Pain's typically going to be a good card in this matchup. Holy Smite might not be bad either. I'm assuming it's a tempo mage. It could be some kind of like grinder value control Reno mage too with like Firelands Portal testing. Who knows? But this is great against Water Ellie and Flame Wakers, and this is good against all the 3/2 Sorcerer's Apprentice and the spell damage guy who's named Cult Sorcerer, I think. So these are not so good to see. I don't think this is going to matter much right away. No Flame Wreath Faceless in play here. But not the proactive minion hand we're looking for, right? We still want to see the Arcane Anomaly, I think. The Arcane Anomaly, it doesn't scale super well late. It's a card... Oh man, that's a bad draw. It's a card that doesn't get a ton of value in the late game, unlike Zombie Chow, which always had the 5 damage combo when you killed it off with an Arcane on board. Dealt 5 damage, which could win you games. I don't think I can Shadow Word Pain that, particularly this turn, so we'll just pass. I may not be able to kill that anytime soon. Wild Pyro would allow me to kill it eventually-ish. That's a little unusual. I'm still not going to kill that with Shadow Word Pain. I think we'll just heal face. That Frostbolt to face does not signal a lot about his hand. We can still kill that next turn, so we don't have to waste a Shadow Word Pain, maybe. We'll just see what happens. Flame Waker comes down, we'll pain it and kill this later. Doesn't have the coin, so not a ton of crazy stuff's going to happen no matter what. We can Wild Pyro, Holy Smite, but he'll be able to ping off my Wild Pyro. And I'm not really taking a ton of damage from this. I think I'm just going to heal again. This is never going to go above 3 health, so we can always Wild Pyro Holy Smite it. It's not like we're relying on the Shadow Word Pain to kill that. So if he plays like Water Ellie right now, or Cult Sorcerer, either one, we can... oh, we can definitely kill it now, boys. Can definitely kill it now, boys. Let's draw a card. That could be good, but not this turn. We could actually draw a card, but I think I'd rather just leave that out and see what happens. Next turn I can, if this lives, I can do some cool stuff. Could draw like 4 cards. That's just gonna die. That seems unusual. I could actually play this, coin out the Holy Nova. Nah, there's too much damage, I guess. I actually could do that. I could play this, coin out the Holy Nova, then circle, and have a pretty big Wild Pyro. Guess it'd be a 3/3, and draw like 4 cards. But I'd have to play 4 cards to do it. But I really do want to cycle my hand quite a bit. The question is, do I need to save the Holy Nova for AoE removal later? And I think the answer is no, right? I don't think I do. I don't obviously need the Holy Nova because the minion's going to die as soon as I coin. So maybe I just circle and just don't use the Holy Nova at all. Just circle to draw some cards. I can actually draw twice, right? So this is probably just the more reasonable play. There's really no reason to run the Holy Nova. It's just 2 face damage, so... Could have actually drawn another, but we're out of turn time. Just want to sit. Don't ever want to play double Northshire, just in case. With the Pyro out, that can get very scary very fast. What's that gonna be? Oh, he's gonna Fireball it for 2 mana. Well, now the Holy Nova is ridiculously good. I don't think Holy Novas get better than this. The question is, do I play the Northshire first? I know I just said never play the Northshire, but now that the Pyro's gone, I'm a little less exposed to risk. This would draw me 2 cards. I currently have 9 cards in hand. This will put me at 8 cards. If I play that, it'll give me 10 cards in hand. So I guess we don't actually want to play the second Northshire just yet. We'll just clear the board, see what we draw. Okay, so we have this combo again. How many cards do we have? We have 9, so we can just attack. We don't have to do anything. We're getting to the good Forbidden Shaping turns. They usually go around to 8 mana. That's going to be a good play, probably no matter what. Oh my gosh, what a good minion. Like, we can't deal with that either. It's really unfortunate, isn't it? Let's, man, he got like the one thing we can't kill, and he's definitely going to get value out of it. It's really annoying. We could kill it with an Arcane, but we don't have an Arcane. I guess we'll try to Forbidden Shaping. 7 is not really the turn you want to do it, but I don't really have anything else to do, right? I could play a Northshire into Power Word Tentacles, but that's not good. We have the sick combo here. Oh, that isn't good. That is the best. Best 7 drop you can get almost, I think, or very nearly up there. Still, this is a very scary card. I don't want it to live very long. He used a Fireball and a Firelance Portal. He may not have a good way to kill this. He's going to try to ping it and see what it gets. If it lives, we're in business. This is nuts. This is the nuts right here. We need to stick a minion any turn, basically, that has, like, 3 health. If it has 3 health, we can get this up to, like, an 18 damage combo. Yeah, so he's testing to see what spell he gets. Hopefully it's something really bad. Naturalize might be the best thing he could get. I don't think he has an answer, so we're going to kill him. Oh, don't... Oh. Oh, good. I think as long as one hit my face. Yeah, I think we're just going to kill him, right? This goes to 12, 24. Yeah, we're just gonna. It's exactly lethal, I think. This is dirty. It's dirty. We still haven't seen the Arcane Anomaly. He thinks we're some trash tier priest who's running the dumb combo, which is kind of true, but it's not like that's our game plan. That's just part of the Arcane Anomaly game plan. So, I don't know. 2-0 so far. I'll take it. We'll try one more game. But Wild Pyro has clearly been the MVP so far. Still no Arcane Anomaly. I hate when that doesn't, when you just don't get the card that the whole deck is designed to show off. All right, so we'll keep the Pain and the Smite. They're both pretty good against some kinds. This is fantastic against like Twilight Guardian, for instance. This is probably not quite as good against Warrior, but with Wild Pyro and some other cards, it becomes very good. Or the Arcane Anomaly. We literally haven't even seen an Arcane Anomaly yet. It just hasn't even drawn it. Alright, so that does not signal what kind of deck this is. We just don't know yet. We don't have anything to do with that just yet, so we'll Hero Power face. No good plays yet. We can play this coin out, maybe the Power Word next turn if we want. That's just worth painting. That's so annoying that you just gotta paint it. It's fine. It's not a Twilight Guardian, but it's really more threatening in some ways. So it is a Dragon Warrior, but it's like a different kind. Oh, we finally see the card. Cool. So the question is, can we make it work right now? We can... it needs to get to 6 health in order to get out of the range, or 7 health to get out of the range of these guys. So we can Arcane Anomaly. Power Word Shield is worth 3 health. So that take it to 4. This take it to 5. This take it to 6. So not really. We can't really do much with it right now. So the question is, do we want to do anything this turn? I guess we could still play it, just take it to 4, right? Even 4 requires it to attack both of these things. Let's just see what happens, right? Let's just see. He may not want to kill it. Like, we could turn it into a 5/5 right now, I guess. That's not bad. It contests the board. We lose the combo finisher, though. I'm just going to leave it. If he wants to kill it, he certainly can. He certainly can. But we can finish this thing off perhaps with a Holy Nova, Holy Smite, something like that. We basically just use this as a body to draw a card. Not the most compelling play ever, granted. Not the most compelling play ever. I don't know this operation, by the way. I don't know if this turns it into a 5/5 or a 4/5. In other words, I don't know if the inner fire happens first or if the buff happens first. Alright, so Holy Nova, Holy Smite kills this. Excavated Evil would feel pretty good too. Arcane Soul Priest would feel pretty good. We may just Injured Blade Master Circle to tank some of this stuff. And heal face. There's a chance we fall behind pretty fast right here. Our hand hasn't just really come together, right? It's a bunch of disparate pieces right now that don't really seem to be accomplishing much. Holy Nova, Holy Smite's really good, but Holy Nova, Wild Pyro would be even better. Would be even better. Is he going to execute that? That's bad news, if so. No, no execute. Okay, well, we can work with that. Combo's coming together again. Not that we're trying to get it, but by God, it's coming together again. So, we'll kill what we can. Obviously, this guy is susceptible to die now, but it's the best we can do. He's kind of getting low on cards, so... We can coin Forbidden Shaping next turn into an 8-drop. Might be a pretty good play. Azure Drakes are real annoying for priests to deal with. That's for sure. Circle doesn't do much for me. It would have last turn. I could have healed up the Blade Master, but I do think it's worth the coin here. The consistency of 8 drops. Oh, that's actually kind of intriguing. Because it's going to contest his board. He may leave it alive, but we can actually Shadow Word Death it. Or, you know, trade naturally, depending how it goes. Is that going to be a kill if we draw the tentacles? I think it might be. It'd be 12, 24. Yeah, it would. Well, not with the taunt, though. Not with the taunt, though. Do I try to get value here, or do I just go for the guaranteed clear? That's the question. In other words, I could trade Circle, try to stay alive, but I think at 9 health I might just have to go for it. I think I might just have to go for it. It's a shame you played a taunt because I can't go face, right? It steals my ability to go face. What if I could double this health and kill it with Shadow Word Death and leave a 3/3 up and heal my face? Let's see, that's 5, 6. Yeah, I could do that. Could do that. In other words, to try to kill the next batch of minions he plays. I would die to Grom Activator. So I could turn this into an 8/8, kill it. Kill this. This would be at 3 health. I guess I'd have to Circle of healing it. That might just be overthinking it a little bit. I think maybe this is just the right play. I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll see. I just don't love my hand right now. I wanted to try to get value out of these. I can turn this into a 6/6. It's not the worst play I've ever heard of, but it's not really that exciting either. So I'm alive to Grom Activator like Bloodseeker, but not for long. I'll have to figure out a way to deal with Grom. So I just used my Shadow Word Death. I probably could have saved the Shadow Word Death by doubling the monkey and... Okay. Okay, so I still can't kill that. Can still make this a 6/6, but it doesn't kill Grom. It would allow me to draw a card, but it turned Grom into a 10 attack minion that therefore kills me. There's almost no chance he doesn't have a way to activate this. Is the problem. And my hand is just goofy. I think I have to go ahead and try this. Just see what I can find, right? We'll heal Grom back so he's unenraged. I need to find like a Shadow Word Death. Entomb. That's all I needed, boys. That's all I needed, boys. Wow. Wow. Glad we played the second Northstar to draw more cards. Woo! Are we still dead? Maybe. Oh, God! No! No! Come on, man. That's not cool. I made a baller play, and you're gonna go ahead and gore out me to the face. Ugh, that's no fun. That's really no fun at all. Alright, well, that was a tough game. Tough game. Pretty much the top deck in the world right now with Dragon Warrior. So tough out there, but I don't know. I think the deck was kind of cool. We didn't really get to see Arcane Anomaly shine. This was really more of a controlled priest deck. We won a couple games off the combo, I guess, which is pretty gimmicky and typically considered too inconsistent to be good. And you saw in that last game, like, it didn't really do us much. It was really hard to make it work. So it was kind of 2 dead cards. If those were other cards, there was a chance we won that game. So you can see why this is risky to include. But there might still be some sort of deck here with Arcane Anomaly and these spells that make sense. And including extra spells tends to work better when you have a Yogg at the bottom of your deck. We never quite saw the Yogg in action in these games. I don't know that he would have mattered much in either case, but it makes including these gimmicky combo cards feel a little less guilty. Like, you don't feel quite as guilty about including them when you have Yogg to give them some extra value in the late game. And Arcane Anomaly to give them value in the early game as well. So Power Word Tentacles, I guess, fits into that piece too. I guess you can consider that kind of a 3-piece combo that is easily swapped out here. You might just go for more consistency with Resurrect or something like that. That gives you some more consistent guaranteed value than would those combo pieces. So that said, I mean, still we won some games. It's not a bad deck. It's mostly control Priest. We didn't actually see Priest of the Feast in action either. So the Here's on cards were hiding a little bit tonight. Seems to be an unfortunate theme for me so far in the expansion. But I'm excited to give these cards some more play and see how they all fit together and hopefully find some sort of way to make Priest halfway decent. Another alternative I thought about, what we didn't see here, is putting Arcane Anomaly into sort of a dragon-controlled Priest. That you have the Arcane Anomaly, you have the Twilight Whelp, you have the Wormrest Agent, and all of those kind of come together to give you an early game package to help trade into and set up some kills against early game boards from your opponents. So that's an alternate angle that might have to be explored in the future to see if it gives Priest the early game legs it needs to survive. But all that said, and that was quite a bit to be said, that's going to do it for me and the Arcane Anomaly Priest Decksperiment. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, game on.